from SOLENCE.
Yes.
And we're so happy to have you, man, in Copenhagen.
I'm very happy to be here. This is
right?
crazy for us. First headline tour ever. This
right?
Is insane.
And this is so crazy because I was telling you earlier how I've actually seen you live 2 years ago in 2024 in Tuska Festival in Helsinki. And ever since that point, the genre is growing in terms of exposure, in terms of people reacting to it. And it's kind of like this wave of people want to have fun while going to concerts. The themes and lyrics play a lot on that. How to break the ice, how to always have fun, the music, the vibes, the connection with the audience. It's all about finding, in a way, your answer to the problems and the weight of the world crushes down.
Correct.
And I think with your new album, that is also like such a novel and a new step up, let's say, in your sound. It actually plays even more on this, the light and dark, the angel and demon,
of course,
the positive and the negative,
right?
Yeah. So tell me, how do you feel ever since you released this? Actually on Halloween, which is very interesting.
I know, right? It's pretty crazy. I think, we're just happy that it's being so well received, and so many people have fun to it, so many people listen to it, and we're able to play the songs live now, and people enjoy it. It's reactive, and we're just having a good time, honestly.
Exactly. And what I appreciate the most about SOLENCE in general as a sound and as a band, you really reinvent yourself also with sampling, with synths, with a lot of experimental sound, right?
Of course,
yeah. So exactly, this is kind of how I wanted to build up our conversation, to get the people to know you for your sound better and how you experiment with writing. And as I know, all of you from the band, you're songwriters yourselves. So you have your style, you have your own touch, and
we live in the studio. That's
exactly.
it.
But how do you harmonize? Like when you build up an album, and every album has its own, identity, its own universe. How do you actually harmonize yourselves to actually feel like, wow, that's it, and all of you in unison?
Well, the thing is, we don't really know. That's the thing. So when we write songs, we just start from something that feels exciting, and then we just push and push and push and push, and then we work on that song for a couple of weeks.
Discovery along the way.
Exactly. And it just feels like we don't really think of it as like an album or like we have this storyline or whatever. We just do the most we can out of every song, and when it feels done, it's done. So it's just us being in the studio, being like, how can we push this forward? How can I write a better chorus? How can we write a better riff? Like, what's missing? How do we stand out from the other bands or whatever? We just continue to push.
And about this album specifically, what do you think in the writing process that really made it, unique compared to previous?
I think this album is all of the albums that were released before, it's like all of them combined. I think it's every song has like a specific type of breakdown after the second chorus. Every song is still it has kind of like a formula, but it's still very genuine, which I think is very, very cool. Because sometimes albums, when you listen to them, you can think like, oh, they were thinking about this or whatever. And I think this album is more like us. It's just emotions. It's just vibes that's getting out there. So I think that for us, it was I think it was just the end of an era, I think. And the next songs that we release right now is going to be very interesting because I feel like we're kind of reborn in a new way. We kind of ended the 6 years of SOLENCE with Angels Calling, I feel like.
That's really good to know because always when I hear artists saying that, wow, we really reached the point in which we really identify ourselves with this and this is let's say the ultimate shape of us at this point in time, and then whatever comes we will discover. And this is also like a really cool build-up for your fan base because your content is constant and you're building it, and you actually blew up essentially in the pandemic or around that time. You started to really do it seriously, right? How is this build-up, culminating now with your album, which is A New Breath? How did this impact your reach and your impact on the audience itself?
It's been different because during the pandemic, we were able to release music very freely, very spontaneous, and we didn't have any tour, right? So I think that during the first years, we were just spamming music. We found a formula that was we did something for 2 weeks, and then whatever that became came out. And I think what we're doing now is we're balancing touring and content and songs and production and meetings and management and all of these different things. So it's much more to do. So it's more of a balance, right? But I think that in the beginning we were really free, and I think that set a good good foundation for the whole project as a whole.
Okay, that's really good. Okay, and then my next question, or kind of like comment, would be, listening to the album, I've noticed, of course, these unique samples and synths. What actually draws your inspiration when you write and when you choose such things? Because especially the opener of the album is so kooky, like it has this borderline Mongolian type of, right? A little bit Asian sounding. So how did you come about that? What made you think like that's a good fit, or that's the vibe that I'm going for?
So when we start something, we literally just find, it could be like a choir sample, like that song, or like something that feels cool on a riff. And we don't really think much about it. It's just something that, oh, this feels exciting. And then we just keep on working on it. So it's literally just whatever's in your heart.
Right.
And that needs to come out. And I think that's it.
That sounds really cool, actually.
I'm not like, oh, I'm sitting here and I really want to work on this like story or whatever. Like for us, it's more like emotion, and whatever comes out, comes out.
Exactly, and that brings me to the next point. Out of the songs from the new album, I really like this Alive.
For sure. Yeah.
Because the acoustic instrumental, it has a build-up, it has an emotional bond, and what I feel like defines you from my perspective as a listener and as a fan, and I'm totally biased, of course, because I filter through my vision, the unique connection and the intimacy that I feel with your thoughts and your concepts of writing the song, right? I feel like when these songs break a little bit the amplitude of the hard riffs and the harder songs.
Yes.
It just feels like you take a breather and you actually get to know the singers.
For sure.
And the writer and the whole process. And why that impacted me so much is because it has like also the tension and the sadness and melancholy, and then the idea of breaking through that. And that's the theme recurrently throughout your new album, I feel. And Angels Calling, and then you talk about the darkness and the light, the contrast constantly.
Absolutely.
I think now in the current context of the world, which is pretty effed up, there's no better idea or concept to actually come into play in a new band release than this, like trying to find your solace, trying to find your salvation in your expression. So what would you feel like, do you think like this album really was put out at the right time, or was just a question because that's when you felt like it? Like, do you feel like it really can help people as well, get a little bit away from this tension that's constantly around us, because you have such a distraction in your album in the best sense of the word. Like, you make people amped up, you make them want to dance, you make them want to come onto the pit and just headbang. And then you have this break a little bit with the melancholy and the reminders of why we fight for. I think this is kind of like how I feel as a fan and as a listener. I really feel like you brought it at the right time, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, the whole point with our music and with our writing, I think, as an objective listener, because like I said before, when we write music, it's just whatever comes out, right? But when you think about and listen to what we've done, right, it's basically just an album, songs that are trying to give you energy, right? Trying to give you some good vibes, if that's what you need, or like sap, it could be whatever. But just give you something that might be distracting from the world right now, or your problems, or like something else. And I feel like for us, I think we write it for ourselves, because we need motivation. We need to feel like we're motivated. We need to be on stage right now to be like here and like feel like we're pumped up to play these songs. Like that's how we want to feel. So I think that's also what we want to like get out with our music.
That's a good point. Motivation is such a strong word.
Motivation, for sure, absolutely.
Good. And now, you emerged as the band, like I said, around the pandemic, and you create such happy-go-lucky, feel-good, a little bit of, hey, I landed on your feet and I kind of want to make your day better type of thing. How are you guys planning to go about that with your stage presence and also your online presence? Do you have like, plans to keep this conversation rolling?
Right. I mean, we can only do what we do. Like we can only be ourselves, right? So we can't like put on a mask we could, but like that doesn't feel fun. We're just like ourselves. And when we're on stage, it's like a multiple amount of energies and things. But I think what we want to do when we stand in front of people, it's like we want to bring top tier musicianship, top tier entertainment, top tier songs, fucking top tier sound. Like we want to do the most we can to absolutely do something that feels very solid. So I don't know like what the future holds for us. I don't know. Let's see what happens. But I think that it's always going to be like a representation representation of what we want to deliver to the audience.
And your identity as a band as well. I think
Correct.
genuineness and authenticity is very, very rare nowadays.
Yeah, and it's like how do you choose what
Right?
you want to be, right?
Exactly.
That's the thing. Like you can't. It just comes from you.
And it's very good that the people will perceive it and feel it also when they see you live. The more and more you hop on stage and you bring this authentic sound and authentic storytelling for your music, this is what personally I encourage you to do, because
Well,
it really was
I think that's like how you make the best show, and that's how you make the best music. It's not like trying to do something that you might think that people will like or that looks like something else. I think there's way too many bands right now in our industry that looks the same, and like it's so boring. Like you see a band, it's like it's the same thing as
I
this,
love that
this,
you put
this.
that point actually,
I don't
because
care.
we were thinking about how saturated it is, and also with genre bending, right?
Yeah.
Right now, what I feel is such a refresher is your choices of always having these synths and having these sampling, like a little bit of an alternative twist to your core, right? And this is what I think will genuinely transform even when you put up the new records and whenever you feel is the right time to reinvent yourself.
Yeah.
And it's a constant rollout, right?
Exactly, and it's like also, like you said, like it's honest.
Right.
We don't really make choices. It's like whatever comes to mind, and that can be quite annoying sometimes because then it's very driven by emotion. Sometimes it can be nice to be like, no, I just want to make a song that sounds like this, but like we can't.
Exactly. And on that note, if you would sum up SOLENCE in 2026 in one word, what would that be?
I think it's headline tour. I think that's it, because this is such a monumental thing for us to be playing our own shows, since we've been doing so many support tours. Otherwise than that, we have some really cool features coming out. And
that was my next question.
Really?
I'm already kind of
okay, let's not go there. You can ask that.
Yeah.
But we have some cool stuff coming out. So
Can't wait.
it's only April. Let's see what the year brings.
Yeah, the year is still, and you know how it is with the change of spring and then the transitional season. It's always like a new perspective for all, right?
Correct.
Okay, so what would be now your message to Copenhagen and beyond?
Copenhagen and beyond, right? Copenhagen. I would say just like come to a show, right? Enjoy the SOLENCE experience. Fucking have fun. And listen to the band and join the family. That's what I'm talking about. Exactly. No, it's like that's it. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. That's fine. Yeah.
And then beyond Copenhagen, go to other tours and other concerts in other countries.
Have fun.
Like,
have fun.
let's bridge the
do whatever you want. Listen to music, feel good. Don't destroy the world. That's it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If we would focus more on that rather than other.
I think that's smart. I think everything that it feels like we're on the wrong focus on it. It's on different parts, but yeah.
Okay, well, thank you, Markus. That was it for me. It was a feel-good way to know each other and also bring you closer to our people. And genuinely looking forward to tonight.
Me
too. Photographing and hearing and headbanging, and you will see my hair flying out for sure.
I hope so. Mine too. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.